All right. So, welcome everybody to yet another live interview show with Become a Fearless Father. And for me, it's an honor. To be honest, here, President Chad Thibodeaux. Thank you so much for taking the time to be on. We only have 20 minutes, so I'm going to hop right in and start with the first question. Chad, man, we met face to face, and I saw you at an event. I was blown away, right? So I quickly wanted to get your point of view. Yeah. Why, for any entrepreneurs and the entrepreneurs' dads, it's so important, and what the values or what the benefits are of going to such events, masterminds, and being on site, like the event that we went to in Orlando.
So there's two massive events or two massive benefits, and you may not think of them. A lot of times when we think about going to events or masterminds, the first thing we do is we look at who's speaking and what we're going to learn. And to be honest with you, neither one of those really matter, because you can learn on YouTube. Okay, there's no information that you can learn at a mastermind that you just can't Google and find. But there are two things that you get at a mastermind that are really helpful. Number one, the people that you rub shoulders with and that you meet and that you network with, that you connect, many times can benefit you and your business for years to come, if not even for a lifetime. And so the connection. But the second thing is it removes you from the distraction of your everyday. So, even if you try to watch something online or whatever, your kids or your cell phone or Facebook or Instagram or Snapchat always gets in the way. Whereas an event, when you go there, you're sort of isolated, put in an information bubble, and you can't help but make some progress.
Yeah, absolutely. I can second that. So is it normal that you make people cry? I know that's not like a weird question, but just so people know, I cried twice, right? Yeah. I cried the first time when you did that amazing exercise, and I want to go into that a little bit because I found that so powerful. So I cried because it was powerful. And then I cried because of the origin story, right?
Yeah.
A lot.
Well, so I'm an emotional speaker. So in other words, some people are intellectual in their conversation. They're trying to stimulate your mind. And I believe that as humans, we're created to be body, mind, soul, and spirit. So when I speak, I try to do something for all four of those. So you may have remembered when I spoke, we did something with your body. Like, so we got you jumping, we got you moving. We even actually stood you up on chairs and stools for a while. With your mind, I try to be very intelligent with my conversation. With my soul, I try to, if you remember the exercise that I did, I brought you back as a little kid and got you tapped into it. And then with your emotion, I try to make you laugh and cry. So if you're body, mind, soul, spirit, a good communicator has the ability to communicate at all four levels. So is it normal that you cry? Sure, because human beings emote. And so we laugh, we cry. And so sure, it's normal.
Nice. Yeah. Well, we definitely did all that, and I very appreciated that. So one of the reasons, as I shared, was because of your background story, right? Your origin story. You shared a little bit. I know we don't have a lot of time, but can you share a little bit for the people that don't know you, a little bit about you and, how you got where you are right now?
Yeah, so I grew up as a preacher's kid. I grew up in a home, very large family. I'm number 11 of 12 kids. I was adopted at an early age by my uncle and aunt, and very strict. You can't do anything. One of those childhoods. We got whooped a lot growing up, so very strict. But I learned the art of entrepreneurialism at a very young age, having to be very independent, being number 11 of 12 kids. You're always having to fend for yourself, and there weren't a lot of leftovers as far as money or food or whatever. So you just learn how to just get in and make it in. Earn it yourself. I started a business when I was 16, a landscaping company, paid my way through private school, and started a couple other businesses along the way. But I think the story that you're referring to is for 19 years of my life, I was a pastor. I served in many capacities, from youth pastor to worship pastor. And then the last several years, I was a lead pastor, where I stood up on stage in front of very large congregations, and I exegeted the scripture, gave hope and inspiration each and every week. And I did that, had a very good career, started doing a lot of consulting around the country, working with churches, helping them go from drab to fab in just 90 days. And about 5 years ago or so, it's been now, my former wife decided that she no longer wanted to be my current wife, and we ended up getting a divorce. And in the church world, it's very difficult to be a lead pastor and going through a divorce, just because of a lot of politics and policies, but also the emotion of it. It's very hard to give somebody your all when you really are in take mode. And so I ended up losing my job. And what I found with my job was my identity was wrapped up into it. So much so that they actually called me Pastor Chad. And so what I learned during that particular situation is, when one day I lost my my income. I lost my career. I lost my retirement. I lost my kids, at least for half the time. I lost my significant other, and I lost my identity. And I just started going in a tailspin. And that following year, the 12 months after my divorce, I made a grand total of $14,600 being an entrepreneur. And just really frustrating and aggravating. And I'll speed the story up just for time's sake. But in that difficult season, I learned funnels. I learned how to help people create online courses. I learned funnels. Ended up getting an award by Russell Brunson himself. He named me a ClickFunnels top 30 designer. Ended up being the top 6 designer. Was hand selected to build 13 funnels for him during his cookbook rollout and the Mother Funnel rollout. Was selected to be a ClickFunnels speaker. So I used to travel the world on behalf of ClickFunnels, speaking on behalf of them using the speaking skill set that I had. And I learned something that was, I got awards, but I was getting awards doing something I hated, right? I don't like building funnels because you got to sit behind a computer all day, and that just isn't who I am. I want to impact people. And so I made a decision at that particular moment that I was just going to go for it. And what I believed I was really good at was helping people start, helping them take their idea and turn it into a business relatively quickly. And so I started a company called Catapult, started working with people. Speed the story up now, 2.5 years later, we've been able to work with 2,500 clients in 51 countries, 6 continents of the world. We've done about $2.3 million of revenue over that particular time. We've helped one person hit the 10x, which is 10 figures, or 8 figures. 10 figures would be a lot. Be 8 figures. We've helped 11 people hit the 2 Comma Club, and we've helped hundreds of people make more than 6 figures in their business, doing something that we love, which is coaching people through a strategy to help them take their idea and turn it into a business, and their business into an automated marketing machine.
Love it. Absolutely love it. Thank you so much for sharing.
Oh, and here we go again. I can't hear you.
Oh, really?
I can hear you again.
No. I can't do anything. All right.
Let me get out and come right back in.
All right, let's do that. So, this happened before as well when we were talking. For some reason, the sound gets cut off and he can't hear me. I can hear him though, and I hope you all can hear me. So we're just going to continue. Chad, as you can see, is a very emotional speaker, and I love that about him. He didn't share a story, and I'm not going to share it for you, but there was one story that he shared in regards to the moment that he was building it out, which was absolutely breathtaking. All right, we're back.
So it looks like about every 4 minutes it does that. So I don't know what's going on.
All right, so everybody knows now. Every 4 minutes, Chad's going to hop out and hop back in.
That's right.
That's annoying, but anyway, it happens. We got to do what we got to do. I'm still waiting for my kids to come in and go, wow, like they did with the previous interview in about half an hour. So it happens. Chad, again, man, thank you so much for sharing that. I really appreciate that. So for all those, and there we go, for all those entrepreneur dads that are really struggling right now, right? And have been in a similar situation as you, what would be your advice?
Well, first and foremost, realize that your number one priority is to your kids. I got 3 kids. I have a 14-year-old, a 9-year-old, and a 7-year-old. And I don't apologize at all. In fact, I'll have a mastermind event at my house this weekend, and my kids will be here. And I don't apologize for it. The kids are who I am. And what I love is I love them being around other entrepreneurs. I don't ever apologize for my kids. And because entrepreneurial life is pretty difficult, because sometimes they have to sacrifice, right? Because they don't always see daddy. You can work really long hours. You can become incredibly irritable during this period. And so it's really important to spend some time. So I read a statistic one time, Klaas, that said the average dad, okay, this is going to blow your mind. The average father spends less than 12 minutes per day with their kids.
Wow.
12 minutes. Now we think that like, oh my gosh, but I want you to think back like to your school age kids and think about how much one-on-one time you actually spend with your kids. It's very, very, very little. And so if I could just encourage dads in the entrepreneurial space is remember why you do what you do. You do it for the kids. So your kids are not an interruption of your work. The kids are the reason for your work. So bring them along, include them in them, let them know that they got a place in your life, and your kids will honor you for it the rest of your days.
Absolutely, man. That's absolutely great advice. Yeah, I've noticed that in the beginning. That's before I started becoming a Fails Father. That's the reason why I become a Fails Father. It's like, okay, I have a job. I'm not seeing my kids. I got to change this up. Now I get this entrepreneurship. I'm at home. I'm actually seeing my kids less.
Yeah.
And I'm at home. That's horrible. That's why I became a fearless father.
Well, so think about this. So think about what a job, a 9 to 5 affords you. If it affords you anything, if there's any benefit to it, is it puts you in a routine and in a schedule. You know you're going to go to work and leave about 7 or 8 o'clock in the morning. You know you're going to come back about 5 or 6 o'clock at night. It's pretty rhythmic and it's pretty routine and it's pretty predictable. So one of the great things that we can do in our world as an entrepreneur is build in those routines. Literally put on your calendar kid time. So if you were to look at I don't know if you can see this, but I'll let you see my calendar this morning, so this is my calendar. I don't know if you can see it, but like if you scroll up here, oops, let me do this. If you scroll up here, you can see I put in my calendar Archer. That's my son, right? So he's actually in my calendar, and I went and picked him up from school today. And then now a little bit later on, it says go pick up kids, and I block it out so nobody can book appointments during that time. And I actually put in my calendar time for me to spend with my kids. And what I've learned is if I don't put it on the calendar, it's the easiest thing to blow off. And so I put it in there, and I'm making an appointment with my kids, and it helps me keep them as a priority.
Yeah, I love that. Love that. That's Chad.
What's up, big guy?
Yeah. You want to say hi?
Hello, Chad.
How you doing, big guy?
Not so good today.
Well, we'll get him feeling better.
He's in a lot of pain.
Yeah.
He has pain in his jaw. We have no idea why. But we're doing our best, right? Yeah.
Be tough, little guy. Be tough. You get through it.
Yes, you can. Yes, you can. He wants to sleep with us. He can. I mean, we're fine with that. He's been sleeping with us for many, many years. So it just gets busy in the bed. Anyway, so
let me say something on here. We're probably going to get disconnected in a minute, and I'll reconnect. But something too, I learned a piece of advice a while ago from a mentor of mine as a daddy. He said, Chad, he goes, if you have to err, right, err on the side of generosity, err on the side of loving too much, err on the side of spoiling them. Don't err on the other side. Sometimes we just feel like it's our job to like put the hammer down, to like try to raise our kids maybe the way that we were raised, be very strict, be very volatile. And you know what? At the end of the day, that doesn't help anybody. If you have to err on the side of love. Give them too much as opposed to not enough, because you're going to blink one day, they're going to be out of the house. Maybe some kind of tragedy is going to happen. And at the end, you're never, when people die at the end of their life, they only think about 3 things, right? They think about their faith. Oh, actually, really 2 things. They only think about their faith, and they think about their family. Nobody says, man, if I could just do one more deal when they're on their deathbed. Nobody says that. Nobody says, man, if I could do one more coaching call. Nobody says, man, if I could just get that 2 Comma Club award. Nobody says that. But what they do say, the regrets that they have was, am I right with my maker, and am I right with my family? And as long as those 2 things are yes, you end up having a lot of fulfillment at the end of your life. And being a guy who has walked through hundreds of people when I was in the ministry, working through hundreds of people through death, I can tell you beyond a shadow of a doubt that's what you think about on your deathbed.
Wow, that's very powerful. I appreciate you sharing that. Thank you.
Yeah.
Again, you actually, and I really appreciate that you're sharing everything, why Become a Fearless Father exists, and what my messaging is to everybody else, while chat goes out real quick because he can't hear me anymore. So appreciate you, Andrew. Appreciate you, Aaron. Thank you so much. Really great having you guys here and sharing this with me. He'll be back in a second. There you go. You couldn't hear me again. So I filled it out. I really appreciate that, man.
Yeah.
So I keep hearing, and maybe you can share some light on that as well. Entrepreneurial Dad saying, okay, my biggest thing is my business, then it's my kids, or maybe the other way around. And then after that, it's my wife. Of course, most of the times I say faith first. If, I'm not religious, so for me, faith is not a part of it. But I'm just wondering, with all the experience that you have right now, right, how would you share that? What would be your biggest advice on that subject?
Okay, so what I would tell people is get past the superfluous idea of what is priority and what is not priority. That's really crazy, okay? Mm-hmm. Because you can write something on paper all you want, but really what we do is where we spend our time, where we invest our time is what we consider priority. And so, you have to be connected to something. You may say you're not religious, but you're still body, mind, soul, spirit. So your soul has got to be connected somewhere to something, right? So you got to be connected to that. You have to be grounded in order for you to work. Okay. Okay. And so that groundedness will inform every other aspect of your being, right? So if you want to be a good husband, you better be grounded. You want to be a good daddy, you better be grounded. You want to be a good coach or a good business person or a good entrepreneur, you better be grounded. So it starts with your groundedness first. So for me, being a man of faith, my groundedness comes from a relationship that I have with God. Someone else may, their groundedness may come from getting with nature or whatever it is, but you have to be grounded. So what I would tell you is the number one priority in your life has got to be groundedness, because nothing else works if you're not grounded. Okay. The second thing is we, especially as guys, we are affirmation addicts. And what I mean by that is we are designed to be protectors and providers, which means we give. But yet at the same time, if we never fill our tank up, then we're depleted. And so what happens is when we go into our tank to give, then it's typically the nasty stuff. So this is where the name calling comes in. This is where the irritableness comes in. This is where the bad relationship with our kids come in, the bad relationship with our wife comes in. So what you have to do is you have to have great relationships with those people that fill your tank up. In a marriage, chances are that's going to be with your significant other. But you can't put all the pressure on your significant other. You need to have outside relationships, other men in your life that fill your tank up.
Okay. Now we have even more technical difficulty.
So I think what I tell people here is just be grounded, have a great relationship with the person that you love, whether it's a significant other, a spouse, or your kids. Have great relationships with them. Be in the position of generosity where you're given often, but make sure you have those relationships that give back to you so you can stay balanced. And to be brutally honest with you, don't fall in love with your business. Don't fall in love with it, because at the end of the day, Facebook algorithms change, stock market crashes, something happens. It's just, in the end of the day, it's just a way to make money. It's just simply a vehicle that makes money. Your identity cannot be in what you do. Your identity has to be based upon who you are. You are a human being, not a human doing.
Wow. Just wow. I would always say, let's stop there. Because that was like, boom, man. Whew. I'm actually not writing as much as I usually do, because I'm already know that I'm going to watch this again and again. It's so powerful. So I really appreciate that. I know you said you almost had to hop off, and we have a little bit of technical difficulty. So Chad, before we go, let me share this for the people that don't know Chad as much. This is the website, so please check that out. It's in the comment section as well.
Well, that's actually a funnel that's only halfway done right now.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. So, I mean, they can go to it. They can see it. Let me give you, I'm trying to think of another one that I have all kinds of funnels that I can send you to. If you're wanting coaching, I got a brand new coaching program that we just put out. Just LaunchIt2020.com. And so ChadThibodeaux.com is my personal page that we're building, but it's only halfway done. You're welcome to go to it. You're welcome to go to it, but you're not going to find any links working, because it's we're not launching that till January 1. But just go to LaunchIt2020.com or firstfunnelfree.com, and either one of them will give you everything you need to know about me.
Excellent. All right, because I want to give you that opportunity as well. All right, so again, Chad, thank you so much for being on. When we're done, please stay on for one more minute before you got to hop off. Everybody else, Andrew.
Can I just love on our people just for a second? Let me just give you, if I can, let me just take just a moment and see if I can just inspire you guys and just give you a little bit of hope. I know something for me. I went through a couple years season of depression, anxiety, even had some suicidal thoughts because my identity was off balance. And if I could just love on you guys and just give you some encouragement, if I may, I mean, who I am to do that. But, being a guy who loves to help other guys, I'll just give you some free coaching today. You have to understand that one of the things guys are really good at is compartmentalization. Okay. The difference between a male and female in this world is we can compartmentalize. We can do multiple things at one time, put them all in their nice and neat little bucket, and we can be very successful. Whereas a lot of times females, it's sort of like a bowl of chicken soup, right? You just throw everything in there, you stir it around, and whatever rises to the top, that's the topic of the day, right? It's just how God invented us and created us. So what you've got to be able to do in order to keep your sanity is you have to be able to compartmentalize stuff. So you have to have a compartment that says, this is my business. And you've got to be able to turn it off and turn it on. You got to know when to put it away and when to take it out. And sometimes we get in a very bad habit as entrepreneurs. Gary Vee, I think, honestly, is a really brilliant guy. I hate that he teaches us. He teaches us this thing called hustle. And we believe that if we're not working 24/7, 365, that we're doing something wrong. And what I want to tell you is absolutely not. People get blown away when I tell them I work 15 to 20 hours a week. They're like, what? I'm like, I work 15 to 20 hours a week. You can look at my schedule. I keep it compartmentalized. People get upset at me because they can't always book appointments with me. But I'm like, no, it's more important for me to be healthy, more important for me to love my kids. And so you don't feel like you have to hustle all the time. Give your work your best and then put it away and then save the rest for everything else. I mean, I'm not saying don't give your kids the best. What I'm saying is if you're always in work mode, you're not giving your kids the best. So compartmentalize it, put it away, and you'll be surprised at how much better of a person you are as you go through your day. So that's some free advice.
Wow, love it. Oh, and I always thought like, wow, we always got so much. You top it off, man. I absolutely love it. Yet again, thank you so much for being on. It was absolutely an honor. Everybody else, Andrew, Aaron, appreciate you all. Thank you for joining us. Everybody else that's watching that didn't leave a comment yet, make sure to leave a comment what you think about this. Make sure you share this with everybody else. And yeah, that was it. Thanks, everybody. Take care.
Awesome, man. Thanks, Klaas. Really appreciate it, buddy.